This man is a criminal. Richard Reynolds targets some of the UK's roughest areas, willfully defacing public property. We've secured unprecedented access to film his latest crime on the Arden estate in Hackney, London. But will the local EastEnders tolerate a crime wave on their patch?
Yeah, this looks good. I mean, it looks bad, but that's good for us. Pretty miserable. It's a mess. It's a mess. What a waste. What a waste. It's a perfect location for guerrilla gardening. We've got a community all around us, an audience looking at this great big wodge of concrete and these two neglected planters that could be filled with plants.
A lot of kids just hang out, chuck rubbish on here. They don't really do nothing with this.
I'm not sure really what Hackney Council intended for it. I don't know if they had an intent.
We want to know that it actually can be gardened, and by the look of this, it's not bad soil at all. I think there's a bit of tree in here. Yeah, this would be good. Even the bottom of these trees could be dug up. We've got enough soil down here. I think we need colour, shrubs. If we can get our hands on some, I think some big tubs that could bolt down to the concrete and fill with flowers could make this a far more spectacular location. People are really important. Even if they're not conscious that we've done something, they're going to have their environment brightened up. And also people are important to get involved and to keep an eye on it. This is their space as much as it is ours to look after. I need to get word out, put a note on the message board and email the troops, and we'll come back, I think, later this week.
It's the next day, and Reynolds brazenly walks into one of the biggest dealers in London to score his stash for tonight's illicit job.
Okay, so we've got some herbs here. These are going to be bushy and evergreen all year round, but we've done that before. It's a bit boring. We need something really spectacular. This is going to be amazing. We need 2 of these. We get a pretty good price here because these guys know what I'm up to, and they like what we're doing. Plants on steroids, glow in the dark. Look at that colour. This is going to brighten up that miserable bit of concrete. Well, I'm a little bit worried that in Hackney they're going to be vulnerable, so we need some tough stuff to take care of them. And lavender is our trusty favourite. These daffodils are very weird. They're going to be a lot happier just staying up here, sobering up. Let's go for these little baby narcissi. It's a nice reminder that spring's on its way, and while they're going to get a bit of a shock going outside tonight, they are going to grow back next year. I think that's it. Let's find out how much we've spent.
240.87.
240.87. That sounds quite high.
It is, isn't it? Nothing we can do about it.
Is there a way we can round things down?
We can say 240 quid.
240 quid, okay, so we've saved 87p. All we need to do now is get this into this. You might think the car is stuffed at this point, but you have to think like a drug smuggler. Where else might you put the plants? But this isn't very different from being in a greenhouse, really. Lots of warmth. It's only for about 10 minutes.
Reynolds returns to a secret location to mobilise his criminal network. He seems almost proud of what he's doing.
Okay, we know where we're digging. We've got the plants, but we need some troops. This is mission control. In fact, from this little white machine, I can control a force of 2,500 guerrilla gardeners around the world. There are plenty in London, and with a little bit of emailing, they are going to appear at our dig this evening. So we just need to plan what we're actually putting where this evening. We've got this large concrete platform. There are 2 big trees in it, here and here, but there are the empty concrete bases. We're going to fill those with the cordyline. Our tubs are going to go here, here and here. Around the base of those trees will be the lavender polyanthus, which means the tower block here are going to get a spectacular bird's eye view of all this colour, and these plants are tall and spiky enough that passers-by here on the pavement and here on the pavement will get a spectacular garden which wasn't there before. And it's going to be looked after, because we wouldn't be doing this area if it wasn't for a troop who lives around the corner. It's going to be able to maintain this. In fact, we wouldn't even know that it existed if he hadn't nominated it. See, guerrilla gardening is a great night out. What else to do in the evening? You can sit at home watching television, you go to the pub, or you end up meeting strangers in the dark in a curious corner of the city and get creative together.
The gang gets to work shifting the plants into position. Then the tools come out. spades, drills and gloves. These people mean business.
I live just over there and I look out the window every morning and it's just horrible around here, so I think that it should be a big improvement.
By the time that's full of soil and plants, you're going to have to be pretty determined if you want to steal it. We've generally been lucky, and if there's someone living nearby, you can keep an eye on it and keep it in check, really, because as soon as you start letting it go, the litter builds up, the weeds build up, then nobody cares and it's going to get vandalised even more. It accelerates into neglect.
All sorts of people come guerrilla gardening. What they all have in common is a sense of mischief. It's so much fun going out there illegally putting these plants in their place. I mean, who can disagree with what we're doing? Yet it's mischief making.
The gang members freeze as the net closes in on them. But, incredibly, the police turn a completely blind eye to these floral terrorists.
That was a usual occurrence. It's what I call just a drive-by inspection. That's it. You know, we're safe for the night. Nice to know they look after us, really, isn't it?
The point at which I became a guerrilla gardener was when I realised that I was going to achieve far more by just getting out there and doing it than phoning up the council and complaining about the landscape all around me. That's what makes us different.
Anybody else want some soup? I live just round the corner, so it's quite cold tonight, so I brought some soup down.
This is your local patch. This is your guerrilla gardening project.
Transform the street, so yeah, I promise to look after it.
We've got Rufus doing the finishing touch here, just sweeping up. But we're done. It's been one of the quickest digs ever.
The following day, the sun rises on a small patch of London that will never be the same again.
It's lovely. It's had thought, too, and some design. It isn't just like throwing flowers in.
They are very nice, and everyone that's walked by have noticed them.
There's like white flowers, purple flowers, dandelions and stuff.
We love the guerrilla gardeners because they look at space and go, what new could be put in here? I think it's beautiful.
But there is no honour amongst criminals. And a few days later, in broad daylight, an entire plant is stolen.
It was yesterday, during the day, that one of the big plants went, which is sad. I mean, how can I do it during the day?
It's dog eat dog in the murky world of guerrilla gardening. But the struggle continues.
I haven't got it, honestly.